Merhabalar, as they say in Turkey. How are you?
It's good to be here, yeah. Well, I mean, 10th edition of this race, home at the Land of Legends. It's fantastic.
Cool. Guys, if you don't know who this person is, you probably already have recognized the voice. This
voice
is the
better
voice
than,
of
yeah.
Ironman. And the name of this beautiful, handsome gentleman is Gordon Graham. He's from South Africa.
Hey guys, yeah, the voice is better than the face, huh? But the voice is what I hope you remember when you finish.
It is actually my first encounter with you. I met you in Greece 4 years ago in 2021. But first I heard your voice and I was like, I know this guy, but from where? Because when I raced an Ironman, I definitely heard your voice.
Yeah, I've been doing this sort of semi-full time for about 9 years now.
9 years.
Yeah, and I have called many people an Ironman and many people an Ironman finisher, because we only call you an Ironman when you finish a full Ironman. Otherwise we call you Ironman finisher. So there's a lot of people that probably know my voice but don't know me.
Yes, so now it's time to put the face behind the voice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Can you tell us a little bit, because I don't think people understand all the background behind Ironman and Ironman voice. Like how many people are there that are Ironman voice?
Well, not that many.
What is the role? Like, are you a commentator? Are you an announcer? Who are you really? Like, what do you do?
So firstly, I think the most important thing that we do is we are cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders.
We are here to celebrate your success as an athlete. Our job is to give you information during the day as well, and before the race we'll do a race briefing with you. We'll share information about the race, because every race, even though it's an Ironman, they all have their small differences, so we share that with you. And then our job is to get the crowd to cheer for you, get you excited before your swim, to celebrate your swim when you finish, to get you onto the bike, to get you off the bike, and if we're on a hot spot, to encourage you on the run, get the crowd to cheer for you. And when you come down the finish line, whether you are the first one or the very last one, we want you to feel like you are a champion, because you are. I mean, if you look at how many people finish an Ironman, I think it's less than 0.8% of the population has actually finished an Ironman.
That's
so
true, yes.
If you're in that group of people that has made it just to get to the start line is an amazing amount of commitment and a lot of hard work. And then to finish the race, they say at Ironman, to finish is to win. To finish, you are in a very small group of people that have actually done that. So we want to celebrate you and make you feel, again, if you're the first one or the last one, we want you to feel like the hero and the champion that you are, because you are.
It's interesting, the point that you mentioned, that you are a cheerleader, not just anybody. Like, you are supporter of every single person. And now I'm even thinking that, okay, when I did my Ironman, it's like 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever the time is, you just finish, you go home. But you are there from the very beginning, even before the race starts.
Yeah.
You come when transition opens, you start building up the vibe, you start to energize everybody, waking up the whole neighborhood, and then you are staying till the last one finishes at midnight.
Absolutely.
Okay, now a bit earlier, but you still stay until the last one. How do you find all that energy? What do? You take drugs, you take Red Bull, I know. What do you do? How do you manage it?
Well, I think our day is probably a little easier than the athlete's day, and so we always keep that in mind. For me personally, I can't speak for everyone else, but for me personally, I get inspired by athletes. I love athletes. I love people who take on an Ironman challenge. Your stories inspire me. The fact that you've committed to something that is so difficult and you stuck at it and you got through it, that's my inspiration. So, and weirdly, the later the day goes, the more inspired I am by the people finishing, because the guys at the back are not necessarily great athletes. They're not people that are naturally talented. They're out there, they're slogging, they're working, they're doing their very best. So I get more inspired. A lot of times when someone comes down the finish line at Ironman, particularly at a full distance Ironman, when you say to them, you are an Ironman, they start to cry. And I'm quite a soft person, so when they start to cry, I start to cry. So we really feed off that energy and that emotion.
You're feeling it.
Yeah, and also the crowd also adds, depending on the kind of crowd that we have, like some of the races here in Turkey, we have really good crowds on the finish line. But races that I've been to, for instance, in Nice, France this year, the crowd on the finish line till midnight was amazing. But I think the best finish line crowd in the world is in Kalmar in Sweden. You get close to 30,000 people standing around the run course and on the finish line, and you feed off their energy as well, you know. So that's how I keep myself going. At a full distance Ironman, we can be on site from 4 a.m. and leave at 1 a.m. the next day. But we get our energy from the vibe and the crowd, the music, the atmosphere, and the Ironman team. You know, we work with amazing organizers. I don't think the Ironman team get as much love as they should, as they deserve, because they put a lot of hard work in behind the scenes. And I always feel bad because we kind of show up, we pick up a microphone, we do our thing, we put down a microphone, we leave. But there's someone who had to set up that microphone and set up that finish line, and then they have to take it all down when we go. So they actually work harder than we do, let's be honest.
Yeah, the organization is always an important part of the race, and it means so much. But again, it's like with the airline. When you come to the airport and you fly the aircraft, your trip doesn't start when you're on board of the airplane. It starts when you arrive to the airport. So so much has to go into organization. If somebody is being mean and rude to you at the check-in, the whole trip can be ruined for you. So here the same. If organizers are doing bad job, then whatever vibe you're trying to create, it just won't work.
Yeah, and we've had races, I mean, not Ironman races, but there have been races early in my career where you could tell the athletes were frustrated, and it does make the job a lot harder.
Yeah. What do you do if you see somebody frustrated? What are you trying to do? Do you react in any form, or just let them be in their own zone?
Well, you've got to understand that very few people are irritable and frustrated for no reason, you know, unless that's just their personality. But most people have a reason that they're upset. So I will always try to help. You know, as an announcer, there's not a lot I can do, but if I can direct you to the right person to help you with your frustration, I'll do that. But you need to understand people are people, and also athletes that have trained for an Ironman are very tense. They're quite nervous, so they're probably reacting differently to the way they would in normal life. So you just got to allow it, talk to them calmly, try and help them solve the problem. And a lot of times, you know, when athletes have been really angry or really frustrated, at the end of the day, they'll come back to you and go, "Hey, I'm sorry," you know, and it's cool. That's fine. We're all humans. We all have emotions, and Ironman brings out those emotions, both, you know, good and bad. So just live the experience, man. Don't take it too seriously.
What is your can you give me your best experience in Ironman races as a cheerleader, as a commentator?
Well, my best experience,
your worst experience.
My best experience at Ironman races was when I finished my first Ironman.
When you finished
as
your
an athlete, but as an announcer,
where was
it was in South Africa. I raced in South Africa. Yeah, that finish line moment, and that's why I understand. You know, like I understand what athletes feel because I've felt it. You know, that finish line moment is amazing. My best experience, it's hard to pick one because they're all unique. But probably the first time, definitely this one stands out. There's a friend of mine, his name is Mike Dorr, he's from Canada. He was struggling with cancer, and he came to race. I met him at the race brief, and he said to me, "Hi, I'm Mike from Canada. I'm battling cancer, but I'm here because I want to prove that I can do this." And when he came across the finish line, I welcomed him. And he hugged me on the finish line, and it was just the most amazing, just celebrating this absolute hero of a man who is taking on not just training like the rest of them, but also cancer, chemotherapy treatment.
Fighting everything.
Yeah, just to feel his victory was that stands out for me as probably one of the best finish line moments ever. My worst experience is when people miss the cutoff for the official finish time. So when they go over the cutoff and you see them finish, and you go, you didn't really, you know, you're not in the cutoff time, but they've still gone the whole course. You know, they've still done all the work, and they miss it by a couple of minutes, and you feel heartbroken.
Yeah, that's the biggest frustration for everybody.
You feel very heartbroken for them. So that's not just one instance. Any race where someone misses the cutoff by a few minutes.
And you're not allowed to say you're an Ironman.
No, you can't. I mean, that phrase and that title is reserved, you know, and the reason why we are so, because you have those limits, you know, you have those time limits that you need to work on. But what I always say to people who miss the time cutoff, I mean, I've done it. I missed a bike cutoff in Spain by 96 seconds at a full Ironman race where my day was done. I was, you know, so I know how it feels. But I always say to people, the comeback will be better than the setback, you know. So don't let this perceived failure of not getting there in time, don't live with that. Use that as fuel to come back next time, and the next time when you do finish, the victory will be even sweeter.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that definitely is.
Yeah.
It's true. Making a few steps back, can you tell us the story? How did you get into becoming a Voice of Ironman?
Because it's a funny
I
story.
think many people are curious about this. How do you become one?
It's a very funny story. It's a little bit similar to Paul Kay's story. So the radio station that I worked on then, and weirdly enough, I'm working with them again now, we were the media partners for Ironman South Africa. And I remember going to a launch event where I didn't even know what triathlon was. I didn't understand, and then they told me the distances that people were doing, and I was like, you people are crazy. You guys are mad. They came into my studio and we did the interview, and they had asked my boss if they could challenge me to do a race on air. I have this habit where if you challenge me, generally I'll say yes. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I didn't even know how to swim properly. And then I did my first race, and I did another one. I ended up doing 5 70.3s and a couple of Ironman races. And then I said, look, I'm not going to race next year. I'm a little bit tired, so I'm not going to race. And they said, well, if you're not racing, would you like to announce? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's give it a try. I have huge admiration for Paul Kay and the way he made every athlete feel, even me. And I mean, I finished my Ironman race. I think it was close, 10 minutes from cutoff. And he made me feel like a champion, and I thought, I'd love to do that. So then I did a couple of races in South Africa. I was invited to the Middle East, to Bahrain, to work there. I went to Hungary, and then it's just kind of, snowballed from there, and more races, and working with great teams like the guys here in Turkey, and the French guys worked in Germany a couple of times. So it really all came from that interview on my radio show, many years ago. I think it was 2008. Nice. When I was interviewed and challenged to do a race. So, it's been a blessing. I mean, I get to travel, I get to meet amazing people like you, I get to hang out in beautiful locations and do something that I love. It's a privilege.
Perfect. Many triathletes, especially the ones that do Ironman, they love to brag about how many races they have done, what type of races, how difficult it was. How many races have you done?
So I've completed 5 70.3 races, and one of those was not an official Ironman race, but was a local race of the same distance, and a couple of full Ironman races, and a lot of standard distance and Olympic or sprint distance triathlons. I'm very slow though, so I believe that if you're going to pay for the time, you need to use
have to enjoy it
all
the
full time. Yeah, so I enjoy every aid station. I enjoy every moment, and when I come down the finish line, I'm gonna enjoy it. So I make the most of what I paid for.
Okay,
basically,
that's good.
Please wait for me at the finish line if I ever do a race again. Don't leave before I get there. Okay, just I'll be there. Just wait.
And as the Voice of Ironman, how many races have you done?
Oh,
this
wow.
year you told me you were in Greece, you were in Oman, you are now here in Antalya.
So Turkey twice this year, France 3 times this year. Ironman in South Africa, I did 2 races with them. So it normally averages, Ironman races averages probably about 12 or 13 Ironman races a year. But other events, it's about 20 events, like the Absa Cape Epic, which is part of the Ironman brand. I do that every year as well. This is I think it's my 6th year here in Turkey, and I absolutely love coming here. I mean, the team, Alexei,
really
Chem,
nice.
Hansi, the guys are amazing, and of course, Land of Legends. Wow, what a place!
Really, Land of Legends.
I just need more credit card money because I want to shop.
Yeah, it's a good place for shopping and sports altogether.
Yeah.
Nice. If you can tell, because you see so many races again, you see so many different athletes, you talk to pros, you talk to age groupers. Can you tell us, for example, who's your favorite athlete?
Wow. Okay, so in the beginning, when I first started, I started watching Ironman videos when Craig Alexander and Chris McCormack used to challenge each other. And I loved Crowe and Macca, that whole rivalry that was going on. And then when I was in Bahrain, I got to meet Macca. Chris McCormack, and just what a great guy, man. He was amazing, like really cool. My all-time favorite athlete is Jan Frodeno.
Ah, yes.
I've always appreciated, he's got a bit of a South African connection there as well,
Yes,
through his
that's
parents.
true.
So,
And he comes to train to Africa all the time.
And he's a gentleman. He's a completely humble, decent man, and what a champion. I mean, there was a time when he was dominating long distance Ironman racing, and he was humble champion, hard-working guy. I got to meet him in Dubai, and I was like a kid. It was like meeting your favorite superstar. I was like, please can I have a selfie with you? That whole thing. So I'd have to say Jan Frodeno. But there are many great guys out on the tour at the moment. There's a French guy, Denis Chevreau, who's close to retiring, but I got to announce his win in Klagenfurt a couple of years ago, and it was really special. He's a good athlete, good guy. And if you look at some of the young guns, I mean, Christian Blumenfeld, I met him as well, a really cool guy. Gustav Eden, great guy as well. Patrick Langer, well done on winning another world championship. It's so good to see him come back. There's so many great athletes. The one that intimidates me the most is Lucy Charles Barkley. I met her in France. Intimidates just because of how talented she is. I mean, she's almost Daniela Reef-like, a bit of a phenomenon. They're just such a strong swimmer. When we announced her win at Ironman Nice, she was so far ahead on the swim, and then
she catches men and she passes men.
Yeah, and she backs it up with a really good bike, and I mean, she runs like she's floating. So I'd have to say, all-time favorite man would be Jan Frodeno. All-time favorite woman would be Christy Wellington, also from years gone by, because she came from never doing triathlon to just dominating Kona for how many years. And when I finished my first Ironman, she gave me my medal.
Nice.
The tradition of the champions always come back to hand out the last medal. So I got my medal, my very first full distance Ironman medal, from her, and she was smiling like she always does.
This is lovely.
So Christy Wellington and Jan Frodeno for me are absolute legends. Love them.
Beautiful. What is the most memorable finish moment for you? Because we see sometimes people finishing and doing crazy stuff. They do the wheels, they do the handstands, they do crazy things at the finish line. What is your most memorable moment?
Wow. Well, we've seen a whole lot of proposals, wedding proposals. We had one in Oman just the other day, and it's cool to be a part of that, to be part of the whole moment. I think the guy that did 20 push-ups on the finish line, I think it was in St. Pölten, quite a few years ago. He was one of the last athletes to finish, and as he finished, he got under the arch and just bust out 20 push-ups there, and I thought, you've taken a long time to finish, but you still got energy. Perhaps if you didn't do the push-ups, you could have got a bit faster. But yeah, that one stands out for me. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's cool. What is your recommendation for the athletes that are finishing? How to finish it properly?
Wow, you can't. Ironman is not the kind of race where you can cheat on the training, and you coach, and so that you have to do the work. Like, you can't expect to have a good race day if you haven't done the work. So don't enter an Ironman race now and race next weekend. Give yourself 6 months. Get a coach. I think that's a very important thing. Get a coach and train with a squad. Train with a group. Ironman, you race alone, but if you train together, you encourage each other, and you're also accountable to people. If you say, we're running at 5 o'clock in the morning and there are 10 people waiting for you, you're more likely to get up and go and run than if you were doing it on your own. Don't do like I did. I trained on my own. Don't do that. Train with the group, get a coach, put in the hard work, and invest in all of your training before race day. And then on race day, you can withdraw those investments and you'll have a much better day. So make race day easy by training properly. That's my advice.
Guys, you heard. This is really good advice. I can 100% agree to that. And for celebration, what to do after?
Oh, go to the after party.
Yeah.
Go to the awards, go to the slot allocation. Some people always say, but there's no chance I can get a slot. You never know, it might roll down. Go to the awards party, celebrate all of the podium finishes, be a part of the whole week. Do everything, like soak it all in. You're going to do maybe, a good athlete's going to do maybe 5 races a year. An average athlete's going to do maybe 2 or 3 races a year. So just be a part of everything. And when you finish, enjoy that finish line moment, enjoy your medal, go and sit in the athlete's garden, talk to other athletes, ask them about their day, because you always have those war stories, this point of the bike was hard, and on the run I was so hot, and then go to the awards, go to the after party if there is one. In South Africa, we've got DJ Dane that does the after party. Go to the party, have a beer with everyone, enjoy it. Once an Ironman, always an Ironman. No one can take that away from you.
That's true.
And if you're ever struggling in your life, on my wall in my office at home are my medals. And if I'm ever having a bad day, I'll always look at those medals and go, if I could get through that, I can do this.
That's true. That's a really good piece of advice.
Yeah.
Gordon, thank you very much for your time. It is a pleasure as always
you,
to
my
work
brother.
with you and be with you at the events, and I hope it's not our last time.
Yeah,
we
no,
will see
definitely
each other
not. Yeah.
many years more. Guys,
Yeah.
when you hear that distinct satin-like voice, please give a big round of applause to our Voice of Ironman. To
You
Gordon
are
Graham.
an Ironman. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.